Your top story, the ANC is meeting with the African Independent Congress over AIC's ultimatum to its municipal coalition partner. The AIC wants the ANC to incorporate Matatiele back into KZN or face losing control of Ekurhuleni, the only metro it governs in Gauteng. The AIC was formed in protest to the incorporation of Matatiele into KZN. The ANC formed a coalition with the AIC to gain control of Ekurhuleni and Rustenburg, where it had not gained outright majorities to govern in 2016's municipal elections. AIC's key demand to the ANC was for the area to be reincorporated into KZN. The parties are now arguing about whether the agreement should have been made in the first place.
So the AIC was bold in saying that, yes, we go into the coalition with you, and this is what we want when we go into a coalition with you. And we've also said that if you fail to deliver, this is how we are going to respond. And our response will be that we will get out of the coalition if anything goes wrong. And yes, we do know that they value that we have put them back into power in certain places. But to us, it's not about us, the African Independent Congress. It's about what the people want out there. And the people out there are not happy. If we can go back to the records of the referendum, people were not happy. They want to be in KZN. And this is what we are asking. And if the ANC knew that from the onset, they would not be able to deliver that, they should have told us, this demand of yours is too big.
However, the ANC Secretary General Gwede Mantashe warned of undesired consequences. Mantashe said the issue is not just an easy decision, adding that it's about doing the right thing. He said other municipalities might start making similar demands to the ANC. Now joining us in studio to discuss this further is political analyst Sifiso Mahlangu. Good afternoon to you, Sifiso. Always a pleasure having you in studio. What do you make of this debate or tussle between the ANC and the AIC?
Good afternoon, and good afternoon to the viewers at home. It's always amazing when after a coalition or what we call a political marriage, one party wants more than what is set in the agreement. Marriages are simple. It's either in community of property or out of community of property. This seemed like a marriage that was out of community of property, but the detail was to later harvest more rights or more value. The intent agreement was for Matatiele to fall under KZN and not where it previously fell. There was a lot of protest from the people of Matatiele who wanted to fall under the KwaZulu-Natal border or under the jurisdiction of KwaZulu-Natal. And that actually meant that the KZN government would have to incur more because now they'd have to build roads in Matatiele, which was something they were not accustomed to or something they had not budgeted for. And the ANC being the leading party or the official party, the government of KZN, tried to meet those people at their point of need and had some meetings, but those meetings were not really forthcoming. After the August the 3rd elections, what happened is that the ANC didn't have an outright for Rustenburg and for the East Rand. And so for that matter, the AIC came in as an agent of assistance and they went into a coalition. Some consider that it is unfair for the AIC to come back and say the ANC must meet their demands or they are pulling out of the marriage. The only reason we believe that the AIC also got the seat is because their logo is so much similar to that of the ANC. And there was that debate. The ANC even asked them to pull out or change their logo, and they contacted the IEC because many people, and their claims were that many older people who wanted to vote for the ANC ended up voting for the AIC. And we have reports of people in the Northwest who wanted to vote for the ANC, but says they were not aware that this party was different from the ANC because their name sounds alike, ANC and AIC, and even their logo looks the same. It's actually black, green, and gold. Only the AIC is with a dash of blue. And maybe that's metaphorical, prophetic speaking to say it is the ANC with a bit of the DA in it. So now the contest is on. The ANC has got to deliver and allow them to take Matatiele for one. They've got a list of 9 demands. Demand number 1 is that Matatiele falls under KZN. It's going to be a tough one for the ANC because that the KZN provincial government has got to be in. Luthuli House and Mr. Matatiele cannot simply make the decision to allow Matatiele to fall under KZN.
What sort
That's
of
a
process is
provincial
followed
debate.
then? What sort of process is followed in trying to make this decision?
Well, in the first place, it's got to go to the National Council of Provinces. It's got to go to the NCOP, which will take another 2 years or so. It's going to be a long debate. It doesn't just fall. If it falls under the jurisdiction of KZN, there's issues of budget, there's issues of population management, and issues of resource. So the ANC has really got to consider this notion and see what it will do with this municipality. But what the AIC is demanding is they're saying either you fit our bill and you make our demands, or we're pulling out of this marriage. Should they pull out of this marriage, it means there will be 2 or more elective sessions. After those sessions, whoever wins, the ANC would have to find another coalition partner, which could be, well, the EFF, and that's very unlikely, or the DA, that's also very unlikely. If they cannot find another coalition partner who can give them the percentage they need to have an outright governance in the East Rand or in Rustenburg, it means that it will either fall to the DA with the assistance of the EFF. The DA does not have the outright win also to run Rustenburg or the East Rand. They'll also need a coalition. So it will be interesting to see now that the EFF and the DA seem to have an ideological difference somewhere and ideological similarities. Will the EFF go into bed with the DA again to win the Rustenburg and the East Rand municipality? But well, looking at it from a political perspective, the AIC is pulling ropes and pulling strides because they know that without them, the ANC cannot hold on to these municipalities. But it's also important for the AIC to remember that provincial governance and provincial legislature doesn't necessarily come from Luthuli House. Mr. Matatiele cannot dictate what must happen at the provinces. He does not have the jurisdiction to allow Matatiele to fall under KZN. And so it makes it a nasty debate. My suggestion is that perhaps the AIC can begin to have other negotiata that they can put on the table. When they begin to negotiate against other things, then maybe they can be met at their point of need. To simply allow the ANC to fall away will be a loss on them because a few of their councillors won't get the jobs at the municipalities. If you negotiate in Rustenburg, a few AIC members can get some jobs in municipal council. But as soon as they drop the ANC, then they don't receive the favor that they used to at the municipalities that the ANC used to govern. So it's a lose-lose situation.
And with regards to possible concerns that now come to the fore with regards to the AIC's demands, does this sort of open the floodgates or doors for other coalition parties or partners to come forward and make similar demands?
Well, definitely. You remember that the DA does not have an outright win in the city of Tshwane. The DA does not have an outright win in the city of Johannesburg, so they needed the EFF for that. You remember some weeks ago, Mr. Malema said, we're not calling for the hacking or the murder of white people for now. The DA couldn't take him up on that. In DA style, you know, the Human Rights Commission and the courtroom papers would have been filed before the end of that afternoon. But they can't touch Mr. Malema now, because should they touch the EFF, they will not lead Joburg, they will not lead the city of Tshwane. In fact, Mr. Malema has outrightly said to the mayor of Joburg, Mr. Herman Mashaba, and said, if you pick it out of the city of Johannesburg, you will not be the mayor by the end of the week. So the DA has got to walk on eggshells. The DA has got to have a non-confrontational stance with the EFF. So right now, Mr. Malema is the kingmaker because he has the power to make the DA do whatever he wants. There are similarities with the DA. Just yesterday, Mr. Malema came out against President Mugabe. He's never done that before. He's always been a strong believer in President Mugabe. He's come out against them. Also, he's taken the stance of the DA to suggest that the current public protector, Ms. Busisiwe Mkhwebane, is a spy. So there's a lot of disparities that he has with the DA, but they've got to fit the marriage. At the end of the day, the loser is the DA because Mr. Malema can take them where he wants and they can't respond because they need his percentage to remain in power in the city of Tshwane. And so maybe that's a good question to say it will allow other coalition partners to come in as a second wife in the marriage, and that's true. A lot of people will take advantage of these coalition talks. And I think even as parties lead municipalities, the winner must be the people. I really don't mind who comes in and who's in partnership with who, as long as I have water running, as long as the streets are there, as long as they pick up the rubbish. But often we find that political parties and political men often want to buff each other at the expense of the people. Indeed. I call for Democrats to make the people the winners of this democracy.
Yeah, the winners must be the people indeed. Thank you very much, Safiso, for your time this afternoon. Appreciate you talking to us. Political analyst Safiso Matlangu talking to us about this meeting that's taking place between the ANC and the AIC.